Did you know that wit beers originally were a completely different beer than we know and love today? They used to actually be sour. They were wild fermented, and they actually had a very little window of when they would be served because they wouldn't stop the fermentation. They would serve them while still fermenting before they would get too sour. But the beer itself nearly went extinct because of all of these little fine-tuned things that basically allowed it to be a wit beer way back in the day. But in the 1960s, Pierre Celis re-brought the beer back, completely changed the style, put it in a much more stable yeast. Maybe it was slightly fermented, but that's basically dwindled out by now. Added the coriander and the orange peel that, again, we know and love today. But it's a completely different beer. And what I've never had a beer that, like, you had to drink while still fermenting, so it didn't sour too much. What a goofy thing. I love it. Did you know that Orval has only actually brewed one beer, and their founding brewer was actually German, not Belgian? And one final fun tidbit that's kind of odd is that the monks themselves have never actually brewed the beer. Even though it is on a monastery, it just kind of started to help them raise funds, but they've never brewed it, which is odd, or generally how that all happens. There are nearly 1,500 different beer types produced in Belgium, just based on different fermentation methods. Denver brews the most beers of any city in the US. Chicago has the most breweries, California as a state produces the most beer, but Denver itself produces over 200 unique beers every single day. The Ogden Theater was built 107 years ago in 1917. It hosts around 150 concerts a year. So if you do the math on that, that's over 16,000 concerts that have gone through that theater since it opened. That's awesome. Colfax was originally called the Golden Road. The name was changed to Colfax after Schuyler Colfax, who was a politician at the time in 1868. It's just under 50 miles long, which makes it the longest continuous commercial street in the US. And they do run an annual marathon there, you know, because it's like 50 miles long.